All right, good afternoon, everyone. This meeting is called to order. Mr. Trump, has anyone signed up for public comment? Thank you very much. Okay, under agenda item 3, we have no cases to reconsider. Thank you.
That's correct. There are no cases under agenda item 3.
Under agenda item 4, we have 3 tax liability cases on docket 39 and 3 cases on docket 40.
Good morning or good afternoon. For the record, Hugh Daniel, Special Program Appeals. That is correct, Chairman Daniel. There are 3 tax liability cases on docket 39 and another 3 tax liability cases on docket 40. The first case on docket 39 is TD-24-008-0224. Commissioner Esparza.
I agree with staff recommendations.
Commissioner Trevino.
I agree with staff's recommendation.
Chairman Daniel.
Agree with staff recommendation.
Thank you. The second case number on docket 39 is TD-24-021-0424. Commissioner Esparza.
Agree with the recommendation.
Commissioner Trevino.
I agree with staff's recommendation.
And Chairman Daniel.
Agree with staff's recommendation.
Thank you. The third case on docket 39 is TD-24-035-0724. Commissioner Esparza.
Agree with the recommendation.
Commissioner Trevino.
I agree with staff's recommendation.
And Chairman Daniel.
Agree with staff recommendation.
Thank you. That concludes tax liability cases on docket 39. The first case number on docket 40 is TD-24-013-0324. Commissioner Esparza.
Agree with the recommendation.
Commissioner Trevino.
I disagree with staff's recommendation. Rather, I find that the Wranglers are in the employment of Exec Wranglers LLC, since Exec Wranglers delegates to their clients the ability to set parameters for how and when the Wranglers' work will be performed. The Wranglers are paid an hourly rate set by Exec Wranglers on a regular pay schedule. The Wranglers are not free to delegate their work to others without written approval from Exec Wranglers, and the Wrangler services are fully integrated with Exec Wranglers business.
Chairman Daniel.
Agree with staff recommendation.
Commissioner Trevino, would you like a short form dissent?
Short form dissent.
The second case on docket 40 is TD-24-022-0424. Commissioner Esparza.
Agree with the recommendation.
Commissioner Trevino.
I agree with staff's recommendation.
And Chairman Daniel.
Agree with staff recommendation.
Thank you. The last case, the third case on docket 40 is TD-24-037-0724. Commissioner Esparza.
Agree with the recommendation.
Commissioner Trevino.
Agree with staff's recommendation.
And Chairman Daniel.
Agree with staff recommendation.
Thank you. That concludes tax liability cases on these dockets.
Thank you very much. No fair housing cases under agenda item 5, no child labor cases under agenda item 6. Under agenda item 7, we have no wage claim cases on either dockets 39 or 40 pulled for additional discussion.
That is correct. There are no fair housing cases or child labor cases, and there are no full wage claim cases for dockets 39 and 40. You should have received the short form dissent list for the wage claim cases for dockets 39 and 40.
I move we accept staff recommendations on the remaining wage claim cases on dockets 39 and 40.
I second the motion, except for those cases which I am dissenting, as reflected on wage claim short form dissent list for docket 39 and 40.
I concur with the chairman's motion, except for the cases on which I am dissenting as reflected in wage claim short form dissent list for dockets 39 and 40.
Motion passes with the exceptions noted. We'll now move to agenda item 8 in consideration of unemployment insurance cases. Please proceed when you are ready.
Case number 3559017, Commissioner Trevino.
Although the claimant's appeal to the commission was filed a few days late, the claimant's continued claim involved her work as a marketplace contractor in self-employment. As such, the timeliness rules are not applicable because the 3/7/23 determinations were void from inception, since there is no separation from employment. Deem the CA appeal timely, set aside the AT decision, void the determinations.
We should dismiss the claimant's appeal as late. Claimant's appeal to the commission was filed 5 days late. In her appeal, the claimant did not address the timeliness issue, nor did she allege an exception to the timeliness rules. Because we do not have jurisdiction to consider the underlying merits, we should dismiss the claimant's appeal and leave the underlying AT decision in full force and effect.
Because the claimant was performing sporadic gig work services while receiving unemployment, it appears that no separation occurred and the underlying decision is void from inception. The appeal should be deemed timely and resubmitted to verify the underlying merits testimony. Deemed claimants commission appeal timely, resubmit.
Short form dissent.
So the chairman voted to deem timely and resubmit. Do I have that correct, Mr. Chairman?
That's correct.
Ma'am, I'll agree with the chair.
Then we will resubmit the case. Thank you.
Case number 3565933, Commissioner Sparsa.
First, I agree the employer filed a timely appeal to the commission and that the employer is a party of interest. Regarding the merits, the AT decision should be reversed. The employer had zero tolerance policy for a positive test result on a controlled substance test. Here, the claimant tested positive for codeine on a random hair follicle test. Claimant alleged that his prescription for hydrocodone resulted in the positive codeine result. However, no documentary evidence was submitted to corroborate his assertion. Thus, because the claimant tested positive for a controlled substance in violation of the employer's policy, claimant was discharged for misconduct connected with the work. We should therefore find the employer filed a timely appeal to the commission and reverse the AT decision, misconduct, no chargeback, adequate employer response. The employer is a party of interest. In the alternative, commissioners disagree, we could take the claimant's statements as true that prescription medication resulted in a positive drug test. Then we should pay and protect under a medical separation analysis. The employer filed a timely appeal to the commission, modify the AT decision, no misconduct, no chargeback, MVI. The employer is still a party of interest.
The AT decision should be modified. First, the employer's appeal to the commission should be deemed timely, as the AT decision was mailed to an incorrect employer address. Also, the decision should be modified to reflect that the employer is a party of interest, as they were the employer on the initial claim and filed a timely protest. However, as to the work separation, the AT's ruling should be affirmed. The employer discharged the claimant after a random drug screening came back with a positive result. The claimant established that he had a valid prescription for the drug that he tested positive for, and that he had previously informed his supervisor that he was taking the medication. The employer admitted that they did not investigate the matter at all to determine whether the claimant's prescribed medication caused the failed drug test before discharging the claimant. An employee of over 21 years and had no prior incidents or warnings. Therefore, the claimant was discharged for reasons other than misconduct connected with the work. Modify the AT, employer filed a timely appeal to the commission. Employer is a party of interest, no misconduct, chargeback.
Deemed commission appeal timely, no misconduct, chargeback.
Short form dissent.
I have your short form dissent.
Case number 3587800, Commissioner Trevino.
The claimant's continued claim involved her work as a marketplace contractor in self-employment. As such, there was no separation from employment, and the determinations dated 5/4/23 should be voided. Set aside the AT decision, void the determinations.
We should affirm the AT decision. The claimant stopped working when she procured other works. Thus, she quit without work-connected good cause. Affirm the AT decision, voluntary leaving, overpayment.
Set aside the AT, void the continued claim, no overpayment.
Short form dissent.
I have your short form dissent.
Case number 3590908, Commissioner Sparsa.
We should reverse the AT decision. The circumstances surrounding the job separation involve the claimant becoming belligerent during the meeting about her request for time off. Once the claimant was notified that she would be reprimanded for her conduct, the claimant advised the employer about her resignation. Since the claimant quit based on reasonable reprimand, her separation was voluntary and without work-connected good cause. As such, we should reverse the AT decision, voluntary leaving, reimbursing employer not billed, adequate employer response. If fellow commissioners disagree, since the circumstances regarding the job separation were not adequately developed, I could also agree to rehear the case to further questions of the parties and to develop the record for the final incident. Please rehear.
The AT decision is correct. The claimant quit her job due to harassment, which included being recorded by coworkers without her consent. The employer acknowledged the harassment, yet failed to sufficiently address the claimant's concerns. The claimant made a good faith effort to resolve her concerns prior to quitting and was threatened with disciplinary action by her supervisor for doing so. Therefore, the claimant established that she had good cause connected with the work to resign. Affirm the AT, no voluntary leaving, bill reimbursing employer.
Voluntary leaving, reimbursing employer not billed, adequate employer response.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
Form dissent.
Case number 3636283, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision is not supportable. The claimant quit his job due to unsafe working conditions. He complained to his supervisor that the truck he was assigned to operate did not have a seatbelt. The job also required him to drive a truck all day without air conditioning and the excessive heat. The claimant expressed legitimate concerns about his safety prior to quitting, and the employer failed to take remedial action to resolve these issues. Therefore, the claimant had good cause to quit. Reverse the AT, no voluntary leaving. However, my fellow commissioners do not agree that the claimant should be qualified based on the available evidence. I would agree to rehear this case to fully develop the record as to the claimant's hourly wage to determine whether the work was suitable under 207.045 G1 of the Act.
We should affirm the AT decision. Whether viewed as a quit or a discharge, the claimant was separated under disqualifying circumstances. If viewed as a quit, by quitting immediately after having worked less than 1 day, the claimant did not provide the employer a reasonable opportunity to properly address his complaints. Furthermore, when considering the claimant's pay and job duties, the job was suitable. Thus, the claimant quit without work-connected good cause. On the other hand, if viewed as a discharge, in testimony and fact-finding statements, the claimant admitted that he outright refused to perform the work. The claimant's blatant insubordination constituted misconduct connected with the work. Accordingly, we should affirm the AT decision of voluntary leaving.
No voluntary leaving.
Short form dissent.
Form dissent.
Case number 3638246, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision is not supportable. The employer discharged the claimant for falsification of records based on a witness statement. The claimant consistently denied the allegations that she falsified the document, as alleged, and testified that she completed the required screening, but simply forgot to include it in her report and added it when the issue was brought to her attention. Therefore, the weight of the evidence established that the claimant was discharged for a simple performance issue rather than falsification of records. The employer testified that the claimant was discharged due to the severity of the accusations against her and did not allege that the claimant would have been discharged for the error if not for the allegation of a witness. The employer has failed to establish that the claimant's actions constituted misconduct connected with the work. Reverse the AT, no misconduct, bill reimbursing employer, void adequate response.
We should modify the AT decision. A core job function of the claimant, an investigator for county government, involved performing suicide screenings on family members of the deceased. The claimant was terminated for failing to conduct a required screening and thereafter falsifying documents to reflect that she had completed the task. Since the claimant was trained on how to perform the job, and since the employer's follow-up with the family members established that the claimant made no attempt to conduct the screening, the claimant's action constituted work-connected misconduct. As such, we should modify the AT decision, misconduct, reimbursing employer not billed, sever adequate employer response.
Misconduct, reimbursing employer not billed, sever adequate response.
A short form dissent.
Short form dissent. That was the last case pulled for additional discussion on docket 39. You should have received the short form dissent list for docket 39.
Move we accept staff recommendations on the remaining UI cases on docket 39.
I second the motion except for those cases which I am dissenting as reflected on UI short form dissent list for docket 39.
I concur with the chairman's motion, except for the cases in which I am dissenting is reflected in UI short form dissent list for docket 39.
Motion passes with the exceptions noted.
Case number 3565275, Commissioner Sparsa.
Say 3565275.
5275.
Okay. The AT decision should not be affirmed. First, I don't dispute the timeliness and good cause findings. As to merits, after multiple incidents of tardiness and parking in an unauthorized area, the employer directly instructed the claimant not to park in the parking garage. Despite this, the claimant violated instructions and parked in the prohibited area twice more. The fact that the claimant was making plans to purchase a parking pass does not excuse his violation. There's no evidence that the HR representative or any other employer representative authorized the claimant to violate the policy. Thus, by continuing to disregard clear instructions and violate parking policy, the claimant mismanaged his position of employment. Affirm the AT decision, timely claimant Rule 16 petition to reopen, good cause for the claimant's non-appearance, misconduct, no chargeback.
The decision should be modified. The claimant provided credible testimony that he did not receive the AT1 decision in the mail. Therefore, the claimant's petition to reopen was properly deemed timely. Regarding the good cause issue, the claimant also provided credible testimony that he did not receive the AT1 hearing notice in the mail. Therefore, the claimant established good cause for missing the first hearing. As to the job separation, the employer discharged the claimant for allegedly violating its parking policy for employees. The employer only provided secondhand testimony to support their contention that the claimant violated the parking policy. The claimant, on the other hand, denied under oath any wrongdoing and provided sworn testimony that he had negotiated an agreement with HR about parking and complied with the employer's parking procedure. Since the claimant denied the allegations of misconduct under oath, while the employer only presented secondhand hearsay testimony to support their allegations, the employer failed to meet its burden of showing that the claimant was discharged for misconduct connected with the work. Modify the AT, claimant filed a timely petition to reopen. Claimant established good cause for missing AT1. No misconduct, chargeback.
Timely petition to reopen, claimant established good cause for AT1, misconduct, no chargeback.
Short form dissent.
I have your short form dissent.
Sorry, hang on one sec.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. The underline, so we have a vote of timely petition to reopen, granting payments good cause, misconduct, no chargeback.
That was
That's
the
Barbara.
chairman's. I'm gonna withdraw my short form dissent.
Okay, and I'll do a short form dissent, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Case number 3601114, Commissioner Sparso.
We should reverse the AT decision concerning good cause when the employer received a determination which stated that the claimant was not eligible for benefits due to insufficient wages. The employer contacted TWC to inquire about the determination. To this, the TWC representative informed the employer that the claimant was not eligible and would not receive benefits. The employer, after reasonably believing that they would not have to take action, missed the latter scheduled hearing. Since the employer missed the AT hearing due to a commission's misinformation, we should find that the employer established good cause and remand the case to the appeal tribunal to cure any due process concerns.
The decision is correct. The employer called in 2 hours late for the AT1 hearing. The employer alleged that they did not appear for the hearing because they received notice that the claimant did not qualify for benefits, so they assumed that the hearing was unnecessary. However, the employer was sent the hearing notice with specific instructions for participating in the hearing. And if they did not believe that the hearing was necessary, it does not explain why they called in 2 hours late. Therefore, the employer has not established that it was prevented from attending the AT1 hearing by anything beyond its own control, and good cause to reopen was properly denied. As to the work separation, the claimant established that she quit due to a hostile work environment created by her supervisor after making reasonable efforts to resolve the issues with the employer, which went ignored. Therefore, the claimant had good cause connected with the work to quit. Affirmed the AT, employer did not establish good cause, no voluntary leaving, chargeback.
Remand on all issues to address procedural failings.
will begin the case. Commissioner Trevino, do you wish to, short form dissent?
Yes, ma'am. Short form dissent. Thank you.
Case number 3622242, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision is not supportable. The claimant was discharged because he was accused of using profanity in an interaction with a coworker in violation of the employer's professionalism policy. The claimant consistently denied that the allegations of misconduct, while the employer provided only hearsay testimony and unsworn written statements. Therefore, the employer has failed to meet its burden of proving that the claimant was discharged for misconduct connected with the work. Reverse the AT, no misconduct, chargeback.
We should affirm the AT decision. The claimant was aware of the employer's professionalism policy, which required employees to avoid discourteous, rude, or disrespectful behavior. The claimant was terminated when he used profane language to address a coworker. Although the claimant denied his actions, the employer, in addition to providing witness statements to corroborate the claimant's wrongdoing, also provided information that the claimant was previously warned about his unprofessional behavior. Since the claimant was aware of the employer's rule on maintaining professionalism, his later violation of the rule constituted work-connected misconduct. As such, we should affirm the AT decision, misconduct, no chargeback.
Misconduct, no chargeback.
Short form dissent.
Your short form dissent.
Case number 3627788, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision is not supportable. The employer testified that the claimant was separated from employment because she failed to report back to the employer for reassignment. However, this is inconsistent with their response to the claim, which indicated that the claimant was fired for a policy violation, as well as documents submitted with the claim, which included the separation notice stating that the claimant was terminated and cited the policy that she allegedly violated. The claimant has consistently denied the allegations that she violated the policy, and the employer provided no firsthand testimony regarding the alleged violation. Additionally, though the employer testified that they had a policy requiring the claimant to report back for a reassignment and that the claimant was eligible for reassignment, the claimant denied knowledge of such policy, and the employer did not provide the policy as evidence. Therefore, the weight of the evidence established that the claimant was discharged for reasons other than misconduct connected with the work. Reverse the AT, no misconduct, chargeback.
The AT decision should be affirmed. The employer, a temporary help service, testified that its reporting policy required the claimant to notify the recruiter of her availability within 3 business days from the date of a previous assignment. The employer further stated that failure to do so could affect the claimant's unemployment benefits. The employer also added that further work was available. Nonetheless, the employer had no record of the claimant contacting the recruiter, and the claimant admitted that she did not call the recruiter. As such, the claimant quit without work-connected good cause. We should affirm the AT decision, voluntary leaving, no chargeback.
No misconduct, chargeback.
Short form dissent.
I have your short form dissent.
Case number 3641674, Commissioner Trevino.
The decision is not supportable. The claimant had been working a long-term assignment for a temporary help firm employer for nearly a year and a half. After being informed that the assignment was ending, the claimant spoke with his recruiter at the temporary help firm that same day. The recruiter neither offered the claimant any further assignments nor advised the claimant that he needed to call the employer's availability hotline to make himself available for further work. Therefore, the claimant effectively made himself available for reassignment when he immediately contacted the recruiter after his last assignment ended, and he was laid off due to lack of work when the employer offered him no further assignments. Reverse the AT, no misconduct, chargeback.
We should affirm the AT decision. The employer's reporting policy was very clear. The only acceptable method of reporting is available was to call the employer's availability line. Claimant failed to do this. By not calling the availability line within 24 hours from the end of his assignment, the claimant is considered to have quit without work-connected good cause. Affirm the AT decision, voluntary leaving, no chargeback.
Voluntary leaving, no chargeback.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
I have your short form dissent.
Case number 3642781, Commissioner Sparsa.
We should reverse the AT decision. The weight of the evidence shows that the claimant was terminated when he was observed operating heavy-duty machinery without adequate personnel support. Since the claimant was previously written up for instances which involve violation of the employer's safety standards, the claimant's continued violation of the employer's safety rules constituted work-connected misconduct. As such, we should reverse the AT decision, misconduct, no chargeback, adequate employer response. In the alternative, since the record was not adequately developed regarding the final incident, we can also agree to rehear this case to take testimony and obtain any relevant evidence concerning the final incidents. Therefore, rehear. The alternative.
The decision is supportable. After a reported policy violation, the employer gave the claimant the option to resign and be eligible for rehire, or be fired, leaving him ineligible to be rehired. Therefore, although the claimant chose to resign, his separation was properly analyzed as a discharge. The evidence suggests that the employer failed to follow its own progressive discipline procedures before requesting that the claimant resign in lieu of termination. Therefore, it was properly determined that the claimant was discharged for reasons other than misconduct connected with the work. Affirm the AT, no misconduct, chargeback.
Rehear.
We will rehear the case. That is the last full case on docket 40. You should have received the short form dissent list of the UI cases on docket 40.
I move we accept staff recommendations on the remaining UI cases on docket 40.
I second the motion except for those cases which I am dissenting, as reflected on UI short form dissent list for docket 40.
I concur with the chairman's motion except for the cases in which I am dissenting as reflected in UI short form dissent list for docket 40.
Motion passes with the exceptions noted. We'll take a short recess.
Thank you. I'll go across there.
No sign of Michael Britt. We're good.
Right. This is agenda item 9, acknowledgements of gifts and donations of $500 or more in value given to TWC.
Good afternoon, Chairman Daniel, Commissioner Trevino, Commissioner Esparza, and Mr. Etzerna. My name is Rich Nguyen, and I am presenting on behalf of OGC. For your review and approval are gifts and donations received by TWC. State law allows TWC to accept donations of money, services, and property that further the lawful objectives of the agency as long as the donation is not prohibited by law, such as if from a prohibited source. Further, state law and TWC policy requires that all gifts over $500 to be accepted by the commissioners in an open meeting with the donor's name, the amount, and the donation purpose recorded entered into the public record. All donations for the applicable period were for employees, and the event expenses were covered by third parties. 2 trips for 2 individuals were taken and paid for by 2 separate third-party entities. The donations have been presented to Executive Director Cerna for his inquiry and initial acceptance. His acknowledgement and approval is provided in the document. Do y'all have any questions for me?
Any comments or questions?
Yeah. Rich, your first time presenting?
Yes, I heard it's a ritual to kind of grill the new guy.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Ritual is such a harsh word. Tradition.
Right.
Tradition would be a much better choice.
sounds like a headline.
That was a good first attempt. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope to improve.
Well, you got to the podium early.
Yeah.
That's helpful. Most everybody drags that out. Commissioner Esparza.
Rich, where are they parking you? Where do you park?
Could
Where do they park you? Where's your parking spot?
Where's my parking spot? It is in the P2 teleworker remote only park
Is that,
front
is
side.
that good? Is that a good parking spot? Would you like a better one? Maybe we can work on that. I got no questions on the topic.
Well, it was a good report, but you're offering up parking spots.
He's motivated. He's up there.
Oh, I
up
see
there
what you're
early.
saying. You're trying to
I'm
reward-
rewarding-
You're trying to reward the
rewarding
enthusiasm.
motivation.
Well, how long you been with the agency?
This is my second year now.
Yeah, enthusiasm will take care of
Longer than,
itself. All right.
longer than me. Been here longer than I.
Is there a motion?
Chairman, I move that we approve the acceptance and acknowledgement of gifts and donations to the Texas Workforce Commission identified in the supporting materials, attachment A, items 1 and 2, as presented today by staff.
A second.
It's been moved and seconded. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank
Rick.
you.
So agenda item 10, purchasing from people with disabilities program central nonprofit agency fiscal year 2025 management fee.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Mr. Serna, Juan Garcia with the Voc Rehab Division. Before you today, for your consideration and approval, are the proposed central nonprofit agency management fee rates for FY 25, along with the method of calculation. Section 806.31 of the Texas Administrative Code requires the commission to approve the management fee rates and the method of calculation on a yearly basis. The proposed rates and method of calculation is presented in the discussion paper before you, remain unchanged from last year. The rates are 6% for products and services and 5% for temp services. As required, the rates were posted for a 60-day public comment period. 2 comments were received. No changes are recommended to the rates. Staff recommends the approval of the management fee rates and the method of calculation as presented in the discussion paper. With that, I can answer any questions you might have.
Any comments or questions?
None here.
No questions.
Is there a motion?
Chairman, I move that we approve the purchasing from people with disabilities central nonprofit management fees and method of calculation for state fiscal year 2025 as set forth in the discussion paper and presented today by staff.
A second.
It's been moved and seconded. Motion carries. This is agenda item 11, apprenticeship and internship opportunities for people with disabilities report to the Texas Legislature and the Rehabilitation Council of Texas.
Good afternoon, Chairman Daniel, Commissioner Trevino, and Commissioner Esparza, and Mr. Cerna. For the record, I'm Jamie Haywood, the Deputy Division Director of Program Policy and Support with Vocational Rehabilitation. Commissioners, before you today for consideration and approval is an inventory of apprenticeship and internship opportunities for individuals with disabilities. This inventory must be submitted to the legislature and the Rehabilitation Council of Texas by October 1st of every even-numbered year. The inventory provides an overview of apprenticeship and internship opportunities, highlighting those funded by TWC. Many of these opportunities are available to all job seekers, including those with disabilities. The inventory also describes opportunities funded by TWC Vocational Rehabilitation that are available specifically for individuals with disabilities. It also describes how TWC promotes both apprenticeship and internship opportunities, including funding for expansion, statewide conferences and events, and outreach and awareness campaigns. Finally, the inventory includes an appendix that lists apprenticeship and internship programs specifically available to cohorts of individuals with disabilities served by the VR program. Many of these opportunities are focused on preparing students with disabilities in high school for successful transition to post-secondary education and also employment. Following approval, TWC Design Services will complete the final layout of the design of the inventory. Staff requests Commission approval of this report, along with approval to make any necessary technical edits during the final layout and design process. And that is the conclusion of my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Questions or comments?
No questions.
No questions.
Is there a motion?
Chairman, I move that we approve the apprenticeship and internship opportunities for people with disabilities report for submission to the Texas Legislature and the Rehabilitation Council of Texas as recommended today by staff.
A second.
It's been moved second, motion carries. This is agenda item 12, recommendations for self-sufficiency fund program parameters.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Commissioners, Mr. Cerna. For the record, I'm Joel Mullins with the Workforce Development Division. Historically, self-sufficiency fund grants have been limited to occupational training that leads to an industry-recognized credential in one of a set group of industries loosely based on the state's target industry clusters. Although the current industries are diverse, there are many industry-recognized credentials and associated occupations that are in demand but not encompassed by the target industry clusters. Today, staff recommends removing the list of target industry clusters from program requirements for the self-sufficiency fund and allow an eligible grant recipient to provide training that leads to an industry-recognized credential for any occupation on the statewide target occupations list or any occupation that the board approves when they review the self-sufficiency fund grant application. That concludes my remarks. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any comments or questions?
No questions.
None.
Is there a motion?
Chairman, I move that we approve the changes to the self-sufficiency fund training program parameters as described in the discussion paper and presented today by staff.
My second.
It's been moved second, motion carries.
Yeah,
This
thank
is
you.
agenda item 13, board nominations.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Commissioners, and Mr. Serna. For the record, Patricia Martinez, Workforce Development Division. Today, for your consideration and approval, we have board nominations for Workforce Solutions Borderplex, Cameron County, Concho Valley, North Central Texas, Tarrant County, Golden Crescent, Gulf Coast, Lower Rio Grande Valley, Middle Rio Grande Valley, Permian Basin, Rural Capital, and South Plains. Staff recommends approval on the presented nominees, and I'm here to answer any questions if you have.
Comments or questions?
No questions.
No questions.
Is there a motion?
Chairman, I move we approve the local workforce development board member nominees presented today for the following: Workforce Solutions Borderplex, Cameron County, Concho Valley, North Central Texas, Tarrant County, Golden Crescent, Gulf Coast, Lower Rio Grande Valley, Middle Rio Grande, Permian Basin, Rural Capital Area, and South Plains.
I second.
It's been moved second, motion carries. And Executive Director's report.
Very brief. I just wanted to let the commission know that we received a notification signed by Commissioner Esparza that we had achieved a goal to be recognized as a We Hire Vets organization. So we're very pleased of our performance concerning hiring veterans, and we thank the commissioner for sending us a letter.
Good job, us.
Yeah, good job.
That's good. That is good.
Good
I
job.
think that's a good thing.
That's awesome. It's good news.
All right, anything else?
No.
Any other item of business come before the commission? I have one thing. There's nothing else. I'll jump to it. It's just an inquiry, Mr. Cerna. In June, Commissioner Sparza brought up the issue of the Work in Texas platform and plans that we might have to optimize that tool. And at that time, we discussed some briefings on that, but I haven't participated in one yet. I was just going to see if there was a schedule for that and when we might be looking at Work in Texas and that platform and some ideas that might improve that.
We'll get that done this month. I don't know why we haven't already. We should have already done that.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other item of business come before the commission? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Chairman, I move to adjourn.
A second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn, and we're adjourned.